All right, man. The Cavs winning a blowout. My Pistons pick was wrong. And for this game 7, I mean, every half-court offense, spacing, fear that you have with the Pistons, it all came out. And then the play calling, that opened up a lot of threes, as well as the urgency from Donovan Mitchell that you really want just off rip, that was in this game. And, well, let's get into the whole thing. So there was really like a second quarter stretch there that just kind of summed up the feelings of the Pistons offense in this one, where, like, I swear I'm not trying to pick on Asar, but we just know the situation with his shooting. 3 different plays where the lack of an Asar jumper was a big deal, where one time Allen blocked Paul Reed playing off of Asar, one time Harden doubled Cade, Asar's open in the middle, but he couldn't finish on Allen, and then one where Mobley was playing way off of Asar, and Asar just drove right at him, and Mitchell couldn't score. And then just a lot of possessions where it wasn't just that the Cavs would switch, they would also pressure on these switches really well to where even if the Pistons are getting a drive, it's like a second or two later where they have to idle for an extra time. Like there was one where Cade got like a blow by on Dean Wade for a layup. That felt like one of the only times in that stretch specifically, but you can say for this game of just like an easy drive for this team, right? Like, I mean, it's like Mitchell switching on to Cade, and I mean, we know that's something that Cade is searching for, but he like denies him the ball after the switch, so he catches it, but he's a couple feet back, the normal, that type of thing, because the action with Cade was off the ball. It was like a flare screen for Cade. They also had Mitchell on Paul Reed for a little bit of that stretch, which, okay. And then Cade had that one turnover on Allen where Jared Allen fell over and then Cade just threw the ball to him. It's like the funniest turnover you could just come up with in an NBA game. And then in the second half, I mean, they tried some off-ball stuff for Cade, and he either is like still driving into Allen, even after getting some off-ball screens, turnover, misses a 3 when they give him an off-ball action. Like, they were definitely trying to not just have Cade dribble the air out of the ball in this series. Cade was not good today, we can say that. And at the same time, just the lack of fear of all the other guys. Just, it's always an extra defender than you'd really like on Cade or whatever. I mean, we know what it is with this Pistons offense. But Cade did also have a few jumpers in this one where it felt like he was conceding a little bit more than you'd like really quick long twos or tough threes against like Mitchell on a switch. Like, I get it. Like they are collapsing on you on these drives, and he can make that sometimes, but everything was just tough. There was a lot of grinded out possessions for Cade. Like the lasting image I have in my head of this series for Cade is him in the middle of the floor, either getting into like a step back 2 or backing his defender down, and just the paint is never open enough. And also just Max Strus pressuring him. I know the turnovers for Cade were high in these playoffs. He averaged like 6 turnovers a game or like 5.8. But the responsibility the dude has is crazy. Had a lot of big scoring games. And then as far as Cleveland on the other end, look, with Mitchell, the assertiveness was there right away. Once again, multiple pushes just off of makes, off of misses, off of turnovers. Let's just get downhill. Also, like to open up the game, they just ran these very quick little screen actions for him of like Mobley just not even in like a scripted play, just screening for him at the free throw line. That opened up one of his assists. I mean, Mobley and Allen really profited off of the Donovan Mitchell assists in this one. And then we get to just the threes, like those threes in the first half for the Cavs, they just all felt backbreaking. I mean, Cade overhelps out of the corner on Sam Merrill, where Schroeder did beat Tobias off the dribble beforehand. You had this really good action of like Strus, Jared Allen, and Sam Merrill all involved in like there was a down screen, and then there was a DHO, and then Merrill's wide open. One where Mitchell had a skip pass, and then it was a whole bunch of swings. It was like, I think, Harden to Mobley to Sam Merrill, another corner 3. Just the ball zipped around. Mitchell pushed it as much as he could. Still sprinkled in some more of Mobley, like as a ball handler and screen actions, which was a really good development for the Cavs in like the middle portion of this series. And so for Cleveland, I mean, they did it against the Raptors and the Pistons, like facing these physical teams where you have more firepower. Can you deal with that? And well, it took them to Game 7 both times, but the answer has been yes. So they face the Knicks. We'll talk about that when it's time to talk about it, as in tomorrow, because there's not a lot of turnaround on these series. And so a little conversation about the Pistons. I mean, you know what I'm going to say. The better second option next to Cade, more shot creation, somebody who can give you over 20 a game and not have it be Tobias Harris, where, I mean, you enjoyed it when it was happening, but it was also like, how much longer can Tobias keep this up? I said Kawhi would be the dream for the Wolves. Well, the Wolves don't have many assets. The Pistons have way more assets than the Wolves do. And ironically, they have a pick swap this year with each other. It doesn't matter, but whatever. I know there was a report about them with Lauri Markkanen. The Jazz are not trading Markkanen. They're trying to win next year. We can do the Trey Murphy thing again. We can do the MPJ thing again, although I still think they could also use like more ball handling and not just a dude who can score, but they also just need a guy who can score. And they've got tradable contracts, although some of those contracts are guys the fan base likes. But when you got all your picks, like anything is kind of on the table, really. And then you have Jalen Duren's extension, which has been talked about enough. How many times on the internet have I seen some version of how much money has Jalen Duren lost himself this playoff run? He's got 7 points as I'm doing this. Is he in the game right now? I don't know. They're in a commercial currently. Look, man, I'm well aware of everything that happened to Duren these playoffs. The market is the market. If the Bulls really want Jalen Duren, they can just give him a huge offer, and what are you going to do? It's restricted free agency 101. The big offer might not come. I don't know. My prediction would be that Duren will be on the Pistons next year. So yeah, now as far as Duren's game, regular season definitely showed more growth with his face-up game and hitting centers with crossovers and putting his shoulder into them and then hitting with little scoop shots and whatever. But in the playoffs, against Wendell Carter or the Magic's switching and swarming defense and Allen and Mobley, it wasn't hitting like that for the most part. And so I think next year, if the Pistons have a big offseason and they get a better number 2 option to where this isn't as big of a deal, then okay, that changes things. But there might have to be a push and pull with the Pistons offense next year of how much of the offense can we hand to Duren as a DHO guy, a playmaking hub, a face-up guy around the elbows to where he can develop that stuff, but we don't want to do too much to where he's less efficient. And also it just makes us a little less predictable. It takes a little bit of responsibility off of Cade's plate, lets him be a little bit more of an off-ball guy. He was 19 a game in the regular season. Duren was, but clearly all that stuff wasn't good enough for the playoffs, and that's what the postseason exposes. They got some other contract stuff. Tobias is a free agent. Also, don't look now, but Asar Thompson, extension eligible this offseason. So actually, you should look now. JB decided that Ron Holland just pretty much wasn't going to play these playoffs. They got Tobias's contract. We'll see with all that stuff. They need a creator besides Cade. They need somebody who can drop 20 a game in a tough playoff game, whatever. But to end it on an optimistic spin for the Pistons, I don't think anybody had them winning 60 games this year and getting to Game 7 of Round 2. Anyway, Cavs move on. I was wrong about this series. I'll see you on the next one, guys.